Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Devin Thomas back with another episode of Unscripted. It's been a long week, folks. It's been a good long week of just fucking focusing on wellness and health and celebrating Stephen Rager. His birthday was this last Friday, March 27th. It was a great fucking celebration. We'll get into it. But yeah, this past week it's been busy, a lot of just like, how do I even put this? Behind the scenes work, I guess, even in just waking life, just like focusing and building, working on the self, and just trying to, get my ducks in a row. We've been going through a transitional period where like, we talked about moving to Woodland Hills, and I feel like that's starting to like mature and come to reality. So a lot of things moving, getting our house in order quite literally. So yeah, but this week was good. I spent a lot of time writing, spent a lot of time, obviously celebrating Stevie and just focusing on, enjoying myself. I've been needing to enjoy myself. I've been a little stressed out lately just with creative pursuit and juggling everything in life. So I got a chance to do that this week, which was really nice. Yeah, first and foremost, Stevie's birthday, I guess I'll give the health update too. His health was pretty good. This last week it got a little dicey, but he went on his birthday to get a massage through our friend Tanya Montgomery at Signature Day Spa in the Carmel Plaza. And he literally left I hadn't seen him like this in like almost a year. And this is around the time his pain started. It was a little after his 30th. So it was funny because we like roll up and like he's out there in a Hawaiian shirt and a wife beater, jeans with, some nice shoes. And I'm just like, dude, like this guy is like a different person. He's smiling, chopping it up with the, Tanya's son and her buddy. And it was just so funny. But yeah, to say the least, he got a lot of relief. I think April worked on him there. And yeah, he also they had a more he didn't say it was like necessarily medicinal. I mean, the place is fucking incredible. If you need a massage, it's the only place to go. But that being said, April, who worked on him, he just said it was like fucking, it was different than going to like the local spa or like a physical therapist. She was very experienced, really new. She's worked on me before, so I can speak to that as well. But she's really good, and just to see that he actually got real relief was nice. But yeah, we spent the day in Carmel by the Sea. Our original plan, before I get into Carmel by the Sea, I kind of already, got ahead of myself. But before we went to Carmel by the Sea, our plan was to go to Folsom, like El Dorado Hills, Sacramento area, right? Stevie was really like kind of been juggling between Woodland Hills and Folsom. Folsom is like affordable in terms of like what you get for your money. Like in California, like real estate, if you're over on the peninsula, like let's say Carmel by the Sea, you can't get a house there it's like fucking $4 or $5 million to live in by the sea. And then you look up in Folsom, you see like this beautiful like $1.5 million house, and it's fully fucking loaded. Like if that was in by the sea, you're talking like a $10 million fucking place, right? The tennis courts and the pool, and I don't even think they'll let you have a fucking pool in the Golden Rectangle. Besides the point. So we've been thinking about these two locations, not even necessarily Carmel. I mean, I go to Carmel all the time, but Woodland Hills, like bang for buck versus like, Folsom, like you do get more. The money goes a little further up there for what you get. I get it. You're not no coastal views, etc. We're in a more inland location, but it is still beautiful and it's still like a great area. So we've highly considered both. Folsom's a little less conducive towards like the film business and stuff, but like if we're gonna be making our own shit anyways, I think we're like kind of like, all right, like how much do we need to be in like LA to do that? But also like I've lived in LA. I know like the value of being in LA. You're going to be surrounded by like-minded people and people that are just probably fucking trying to figure it out like you, or have figured out a little bit and they're a little further, and you all are just kind of like, there's a collective energy of like working together to get where you want to go. And I do love that about Los Angeles. And I feel like that's still there. Even Woodland Hills, I see a lot of these like film parties and mix-ups that I go to. Like they're just like, they're 15 fucking minutes away from like the place we're looking at. I'm like, yeah, like there is a sense of like legitimate creative community in Los Angeles. And there always will be and there always has. But besides the point, we wanted to go to Folsom, right? Stevie's like, we'll play it by ear. Like, I don't want to overthink it. He's like, I just know that, like, maybe I'll go to this Red Hawk Casino or this Thunder Valley, these Indian casinos, right? And they're both really nice, both really cool. But it was kind of just, like, if we get there and we want to stay there, then fuck it, we'll stay at the casino because it'll have amenities. They'll probably have a 24/7 kitchen, etc. The other place we were looking at was, like, Lake Natoma Inn. It looked good. It was more like low key. It was going to be like if you had somebody in Folsom or you had something going on, it was going to be the place to be. It was close to the local, like I think it's Power Horse or Powerhouse Pub. It would have been fun to go to it, but like there wouldn't have been much going on after like after midnight, I'm assuming the town is shut down, right? That's kind of the vibe we got. We were like, okay, like, look, like, we can try and get the fucking casino, whatever you want. We don't really care. It's your birthday. Man, we call it Red Hawk. It must have been the fucking chief's daughter. I'm just joking. But she was just terrible on the phone. She was just like, no, we're booked, like completely booked. We're like, okay, well, online it says you have room. She's like, well, you can try and book it online. It's like, dude, like, if it's not fucking available, why would I do that? Like, it was just the most it was the worst customer service call I have ever fucking had. And it was also like, she had no idea like anything about her business. She was saying how like, we have something going on, but I don't know what it is. It's a private event, but you could still get a room. The casino will be open, but it's a private event. It's like, you're giving me fucking mixed information here. Is it open or not? Can I stay there or not? Just let me know, dude. I want to roll some fucking dice and play some fucking cards. Are you available for that? It was just ridiculous. So, wasn't very helpful there. We called Thunder Valley, same fucking issue. And that was like 45 minutes away. So it's like not really the area we were looking at. It's like this different part of town. So anyways, I digress. Like, it kind of was just like, okay, like, are we doing this or not? It was also outrageous. It was like $475 for like one night, which isn't like completely crazy, but it's like, the other thing that pissed me off is like, not only, okay, $475, sure, whatever. I paid more for fucking one night in LA. It was the fact that we were like, hey, like, we were driving like fucking 4 hours to get there. She didn't give a fuck. She was literally like, okay. I'm like, okay. Like, dude, do you think we want to take a 4-hour drive and maybe not get a hotel room? Maybe not be able to touch some fucking felt? Like, come on, dude. Anyways, it was hilarious. I was listening in. I wasn't actually talking on the call. And when I heard it, I was like, dude, this has got to be the worst. Like, this, like, why put her on the phone? Get anybody else, So anyways, just a little antidote from the week. Back to Carmel. Stevie got a great massage. We hung out. I actually had the fucking luxury of going into the spa. Like, I kind of saw it the other day. I was with Stevie and Anthony, and I think Christine might have been with us too. Yeah, we were in by the sea, and we stopped by Tanya's spot. It had not opened. It was probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks, a little under a month ago. And we went to Tanya's spot, Signature Day Spa, and when we were in there, they were just finishing it up. Like, you could smell the fresh paint. You could tell, like, construction had just finished. They just swept up. Still a few things to be touched up here and there, right? Like, a window had to go in. So there was some work to be done. And we saw this salt room she had. It's like, I want to say it's Himalayan pink salt, but it's not. She told me it was from Pakistan, but like, salt wall where it's got that nice orange pinkish glow. And there was like the wood bench with the raw wood, and it was beautiful. Complete spa room, right? Well, after Stevie was done, she's like, hey, you guys want to hop in there for like 20, 30 minutes? I was like, fuck, yeah, I want to hop in there for 20 or 30 minutes. So my mom, Christine, and I went in there, and they did the magnesium, like, halo therapy treatment. It was crazy. Like, magnesium powder, I guess, goes in the air, and you can kind of like taste it and breathe it. And if you open your mouth, kind of went like breathe through your mouth, you could really taste it. And it was nice. Also, like, you don't go on your phone in the spa. It's just like a real like disconnect. It's kind of how time used to feel. I know it sounds crazy, but time used to be like, you knew it had been a long time because you've been so conscious that whole time. You're like, okay, like, it's definitely been a while. Like, your perception and sense of time, even in the spa, was way like, I felt like, it sounds weird, but it felt like old, like how before it was before the phone, because the phone is truly like, it's a fucking, I think there's gonna be a big thing with phones soon, with like addiction and psychology and like mental phone addiction. Like, I hate brain rot, like people that just, they can't get off the phone. And it's like, I get it. Like, I've been guilty of it myself. I just, I think it's unhealthy. There's got to be some sort of information like coming out soon that says like, hey, these phones are bad. But anyways, being in the spa, not being on my phone, just being present, I felt way more relaxed than I'd felt in a long time. I almost fucking fell asleep in there. I honestly sometimes think my phone is just like, just this fucking device that just like, it just captures all my attention sometimes. And it just keeps me awake because I want to keep getting more information and more shit. And being in the spa, like I said, like, it's just, that all went away. She had the music at a nice volume. I like music super fucking loud, but everybody else told me I was wrong. But I was like, turn that shit up. It was beautiful spa music, really relaxed. And yeah, it was not expected. And, Stevie, he was in such a good mood. I don't think he wasn't even like, at that point, I think he's just like, thank God I have relief. So anyways, we hung out, did the spa, or whatever, the salt room halo therapy treatment, and it was great. I got out of there. She came in and checked on us at 20. She's like, you want to go a little longer? I'm like, fuck it. Like, we just sat in there probably for half an hour, 45 minutes. And then after that, got out, felt relaxed, rejuvenated. Stevie was hungry, a little birthday meal. We headed over to La Playa and went to Bud's and got a cheeseburger. But it's just funny, going to La Playa now after the movie, because it's in Peninsula Nights. It's actually like, it was funny because when we got there, I'm like, yeah, like I was there the other day with Stevie and I thought about it. But like going there with Christine and Stevie, I'm like, there's Tom and Bella ever walking into La Playa. It's just, it is a little strange, like, because we coined it in the story as like, that's their destination. They're walking to La Playa. That's the hotel they're going to. It's like, it's strange. There's just something kind of meta about it, like going there and patronizing it, and then also being with them, obviously. And I don't know, there's something about it. It felt like we had really like captured like that vibe. And even Christine, when she went in, she's like, God damn, like it is kind of weird to be like back here. They're like, the fireplace is there, and it's just the same one in the movie. It's just strange. Like we had a very like niche thing that we captured, which is like, as niche as it may be, it is my life, you know? So the meta aspects of Peninsula Nights were really felt. And like even driving and walking around Carmel by the Sea, I was like, fuck, we shot there, we shot here. It was weird, you know? Anyways, had a great fucking lunch at Bud's. Got to see my grandma. My grandma had a little fall the other day. She's okay, but you know, when people in your life start getting a little elderly and stuff like that starts happening, you start getting more concerned, right? There's a growing concern just in general, but yeah, but she was good. She fell, hit her head, and she was at lunch having a good time. She actually had 2 margaritas, had a nice little buzz. Like she left in good spirits. I'm like, thank God, you know, she wouldn't have like a little, after she had fallen, she had a little CT scan. And like, after that, that's when she had the drinks. And I'm like, I told her, I was like, fuck it, Noni, just, you love margaritas, you know, do your thing. I actually didn't tell her to order them, but when I saw her drinking, I'm like, whatever, like, you know, good for you. If I was fucking, you know, in my 80s, I'd be doing the same thing. Anyways, I digress. Yeah, had a great lunch. And then Stevie wanted to get German chocolate cake. And like, look, I didn't have the energy in me to bake it. Also, like, I get complaints on my German chocolate cake for being like too chocolatey, like, it's not the same as mom makes it, right? My mom makes a really good German chocolate cake. So like, I was like, fuck it, like let her bake it. She was going to bake it. And then Stevie's like, you know, I want it. Like, I just don't even want to wait for you to bake it. He's like, I'll just go buy one. So we look up where we can get it. Actually, I think I said it. I told Steve, I was like, didn't you get like fucking German chocolate cake at Rosine's a couple months ago? They went to one of these concerts over at Golden State Theater, right? In downtown on Alvarado in Monterey. And she's like, yeah, actually I did. So Stevie calls them up, and sure enough, they haven't even cut the cake for the day. It was probably 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 4 o'clock. And they're like, hey, we have a full one. It's like $90 if you want to come pick it up. He's like, fuck it. So he goes down. It was funny, once again, driving down Alvarado. Maybe I just haven't been getting out that much, but like seeing the locations, like I saw Easy Street Billiards, I'm like, we shot it. I saw Golden State Theater, we shot it. The fucking corner of looking at Rosine's with like where the Britannia Arms used to be, I was like, we shot it. It was weird. This whole downtown, I parked outside of like adjacent to Plumes. I'm like, this is where Tom is on his laptop at night too, like typing and doing his thing. It was just weird coming back to these 2 parts of town that we filmed like, you know, probably 90% of the film in, seeing it and just being like, you know, like, I really think like I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it better myself. I couldn't have captured it any better than I did. And I don't know. I've just really grown to love Peninsula Nights. And like, you don't know how it's going to feel. Like you put the movie out, there's that initial excitement, the initial high. And then now I think it's going to like just, you know, starting to enter, it's maturing. It's sitting on the shelf. It's becoming what it is, right? You know, a movie that I think will just grow in popularity. And I think it really did like do is justice to the area and actually like make you feel like you're but that you're in Carmel and Monterey, that you're experiencing it how a local would experience. Because for me, it is my life. And it's another thing too, I think about like, I would go back and film this area again. I talked about it the other day on the pod when I was with Anthony and Stevie and Christine and Carmel by the Sea. I talked to Sam Purcell, the actor who also owns Big Little Boxes and By the Sea, who was in the film. He plays the guy literally working at the shop. And he's like, just shoot here again. He's like, you got to shoot here again. And I'm like, I don't disagree at all. I actually took a short walk by myself because Christine wanted to go to the plaza while Steve was getting his massage. I was like, I want to get a cup of coffee. I went to my favorite coffee shop, Carmel Coffee House. And when I was in there, like, I've been watching a lot of Eric Rohmer lately. I just watched A Summer's Tale. And I was just looking around. I'm like, this is a fucking movie set. Like, this town is, you get this European flair when you're there. I don't know. I mean, when I was talking with Anthony, he was saying Switzerland. I personally was thinking like, you know, even like French vibes. I haven't even really been to France, but from what I see in all of the French cinema I watch, it had that similar tone or vibe or whatever, European vibe, right? And it's just interesting. I feel like just seeing like the people, like, you know, the girls walking, the couples fucking hanging out. And it's kind of how I saw Peninsula Nights, but seeing it this time, I'm like, there's just like this relaxed Epicurean, affluent vibe going on in Carmel, mixed with this just, there is like the local, I wouldn't even call it the local class, but there's this other group of people here that aren't just the tourists that are, probably wealthy, coming to town to patronize all the shops and do the whole fucking show. Pebble Beach, Carmel, Big Sur, Nepenthes. They want to go out to Post Ranch and have a massage or dinner. The Valley. It is. There's so much going on right there in this little city. This little city by the sea, and I really saw it. And 3-Day Weekend leans into those vibes. The other script I'm working on. I have another thriller that like. It's a concept, like before I even made Peninsula Nights, Stevie and I went out and we filmed this, like I call it The Cowboy, but this guy just goes out and he kind of like is out at night doing this little, like, it looks like he's doing a pickup or something, some crime, right? And I always loved that. Watching Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad has really reignited like my desire to make something like that, as well as just like, it's inspiring, right? I remember growing up watching like Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez and all these crazy fucking action movies. Like, I was like, yeah, of course I want to make that. Then I grew to like the indie fucking films that are a little bit more conversational, but also, about humans and emotions. And there's that emotional complexity. People are complex. I love that. And you can say so much by saying so little. And it's also, more feasible on a lower budget. You don't want to make a shitty low budget action movie that just feels like it's not, you don't want to try to make Die Hard if you don't have the fucking locations, right? You don't want to film something. It can work, but you get my point. But anyways, watching Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, and particularly Better Call Saul, after I've seen both, I personally think Better Call Saul is the better of the two shows, but it couldn't have come without Breaking Bad, and Breaking Bad's masterpiece as it is. So they struck gold twice, two fucking masterpieces in their entire career. The fact Better Call Saul never won any Emmys, that is not right. Those guys, they gave it all. But, sorry, fucking A. It's hot as hell. Like I was saying, this other idea, it's a little bit more of like a crime. I won't call it a crime caper, but it's a little bit more in that vein. I really love the movie Good Time. I really love Uncut Gems. I love Hell or High Water, the Taylor Sheridan vibe mixed with that Safdie Brothers vibe. I've been thinking about that for a long time. Also, like, True Romance. It's not a movie that I like love the movie as much as I love the idea of like, lovers on the run. I like that shit. So yeah, this idea that I've been conceptualizing, it's just, I feel finally like, what did it is we were out. I think Stevie went to Stoney's in Salinas, and I saw Wiener Schnitzel. They just painted it, and I was looking at it, and I saw it at night. I saw it during the day, and I'm like, I just want to film the Wiener Schnitzel. I love this Americana restaurant. Like, you're just not going to see this anywhere fucking else in the world. It sounds stupid, but like, you'll see a McDonald's, you'll see a Burger King, but you're not going to see this. And it just like, it has like Tasty Freeze on it. Like, it's just so Americana. I was like, and my joke is always like, America is a movie set. Like, you could go out and pop up a camera pretty much anywhere, and like, what seems normal and ordinary to you is extraordinary to other people. I'm telling you right now, that's just like, at least that's the way I see the world. And I saw this Wiener Schnitzel, and I just started seeing a guy sitting outside of there. I'm like, this is like that character that we filmed before we made P. Nice. This cowboy is what I call him. I'm like, I think I finally like had a little lightning bolt. I'm like, I think I see a pitch here, and a little bit of his derivative of like maybe that Better Call Saul vibe and this and that. But like, those inspirations rather than calling them, being derivative, they are inspirations. They make you think, they make your mind spin. It's like, okay, like, I think I finally have a pitch that works for this type of idea and also works right now. So I'm really excited to capitalize on that and kind of just get that starting too. Between all this shit, I actually haven't really written that much on 3-Day Weekend this week, because I finally was going through Cork with like a pen and just fucking really writing my handwritten notes. And it's a long script. It was like 107 pages. I'm like, holy fucking shit. Like, I forgot like a long script, it's long. I was also busy. We had shit going on all week long. So it was like here and there. And I finally got through it, doing my little, like, really reading it, really going through the pen, being like, what could be added? What could be, taken away, doing a little deduction. And what I came out with on the other end, I was very happy with. But right now I'm just doing the like manual fucking rewrite on final draft. A lot of fucking copying and pasting here or there. Okay, I want this there, and rewriting dialogue, shaping it. I realize like how like much I've grown as a writer reading it, because I wrote that in 2024. June of 2024. I wrote it fucking like in a week or two, redrafted for the rest of that month, and I moved on immediately to something else. I remember that was when I just like my appetite for writing was just next. And I like it because now I have like all these scripts that I can go back and just let me redraft, let me touch it up, let me make it a little bit better than what I thought it was. And you always think it's worse than you remember, but you always see something you can change. And that's important. But I also heard a great quote this week. I think it said like, it's finished when there's nothing left to take away, right? And I think that's very important. I'm still adding, I'm still crafting, but I think by the time this script is done on this draft, there will be some to take away. And I mean that in a good way. And I think I'll be able to finally like just refine, shape. You know my joke. I always say it on Unscripted. It's a fucking Michelangelo. You got this big block, this big marble block, and you're going to chip away until you have your perfect fucking statue. And it's going to be all smooth and polished by the end. And even with screenwriting, it'll continue to go all the way up until the day you fucking shoot. You're going to be thinking about stuff. You're going to rehearse. You're going to find shit in the rehearsal. You're going to block. You're going to find shit in the blocking. Don't stress yourself out about perfect as much as like trying to get it to what you think is most ready to take it to that next step. Because look, you could try and improv it. You could try and do it, you know, by the, you know, off the cuff. But like, I'm telling you right now, like unless it's like more like comedic or like, I don't know, maybe inspired, it's going to be tough. Like, I think like whittle the script down as much as fucking possible before you think about setting up the camera, and then take that and read it, shoot the rehearsal. Like we shot a lot of fucking, I should post this, but a lot of Peninsula nights, just Stevie and Christine, like reading the lines together, reading the first half, cause it was kind of broken into 2 nights. So we'd read about, you know, like 40 pages here, another like 45 there, another, you know, 50. And it was interesting because like reading it, it almost became like a song. You remember the lyrics and you don't want to overdo it to the point where things feel like they're just fucking flat and boring. But I think knowing the script and understanding it and understanding the context and shit, it does help to some extent. I think when you're actually on set, don't overthink it by shooting like 150 takes. You don't need to be David Fincher. I actually think on the next thing I shoot, I'm going to be very economical with the amount of takes I do, because not only is it wearing on the actors, but I do want to shoot more angles, more shots, in that, you know, I got to be decisive. I got to be like, you know what? Like, they got it. I don't need to fucking force them to do this 10 times. Like, for safety is what, you know, everybody always jokes. And it's like, yeah, we're not coming back, but it's also like, you've got to have some mutual trust here. I trust that you got it. You trust that I got it, you know, unless it's a technical issue or like somebody straight up forgets it. That happens. That's okay. But I'm saying from a directing point of view, I don't want to be the guy like holding up the shoot or just like overthinking it. Like I've learned to trust myself more. So anyways, Cork, rewrite, doing it, 3-day weekend, working on it. This new crime little thriller I kind of pitched, like that's something that I've been really like, it's been, you know what? Like I feel like I want to finish the rewrite on Cork, and I also have people interested in actually making it. So like that's something that has been driving it. And I also know that like it's a movie that it will be fucking good once it gets made. Like it's a movie I'll throw on fucking all the time. It's like a wine country movie. It's not Sideways where it's so much like this sad movie. It's not cheesy where it's like, let's save the farm. It is just like a genuine slice of life and a part of life here that I think a lot of people could relate to. And I've also thought about this. This is more of an aside, but like people come from all places, right? There's, you know, Richard Linklater. He's like an Austin, Texas filmmaker. His movies tend to take place there. I'd say Robert Rodriguez in the same vein. He tends to stick around his parts. He's got Troublemaker Studios out in Austin. He's not coming to Hollywood to make a movie unless he has to. And it's not like he's not saying he would. It's just he's a Texas filmmaker. I'm a California filmmaker. I got my region, right? But like my region is my region. It's untapped. Like there is I think like, you know, like shoot for the stars, but also like my realistic perspective on filmmaking is if like I stay in this region or at least continue to make films about this area, whether I go to Woodland Hills or if I went to fucking Alaska, it doesn't matter. Capping on this area, I know it so well that I can, you know, tell the stories of this area or tell stories in this area that I think eventually if I have enough of them, there will be like a cult popularity behind it, or people might be like, hey, like I really like these Carmel and Monterey and Salinas Valley and wherever, like the general area, Big Sur, Santa Cruz, Bay Area, let's say Tri-County, whatever, this region of the central or upper central coast. I know people like to fucking wrap us into NorCal, but I saw if they broke up the map for California for that Jefferson Act or whatever they wanted to do to make California like 6 states, technically Monterey County would be part of Silicon Valley. Then Central Coast would be the next state. And I think Central Coast takes Los Angeles, but whatever. So let's just call it like that Silicon Valley region that I'm in. Yeah, I think people would be behind it. You know, even in Peninsula Nights, I'm talking about Apple and Silicon Valley and jobs and this and that. And it all feels so authentic because it is. It's like, it's true to what I know. It's true to my area. And like, if you're the guy who's doing that in your area, then fuck it. Like I would be very happy with like regional in terms of like success in the way that people recognize what I'm doing. But I also know that, you know, sounds ridiculous, but I feel like destined for higher, bigger, better, greater. And it's just a, you know, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, as they say. And I think that is the truth, but it's also, you got to stay on the path. You can't deviate from that. I always say too, like I haven't come this far to come this far. you know, it's a, I think I've stopped racing and I've started just, thinking like, how can I do the next thing? I'm not racing to get to like, oh, the top, like fuck the Hollywood totem pole. Like, I think if you just do the work and you're honest and your authenticity is portrayed through your work and it's good, the work has to be good, of course, you can't phone it in. Then yeah, I do think that will, I don't know, it's obviously a vision, not a plan, but I can kind of like, when I'm not even, I don't even like not necessarily manifest, but when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, what would really be like the best approach? And I think it's just to continue making movies that are interesting, whether that's in your region or not, that's fine. But like, have your focus and just do the best that you can do within those, bounds. If I'm moving to Woodland Hills, I'm going to try and like craft a story around this, and I'm going to see it through my lens. It's the vision, right? You can only see, some people see the world through that fucking, dark gothic lens, and they want to make, horror. Like, it's even how somebody dresses. If somebody's dressed all goth and shit, that's how they want to be perceived, and that's their reality. My reality is different. My perspective on life is different. And like, I think like wherever I go, I will bring that. I do think Monterey County though is a huge untapped fucking, well of cinema just waiting to be made. And I think I could be that guy. I think Stevie and I could do it. I think we could fucking shoot the hell out of this town and this area and tell the stories that will probably end up becoming like the movies of like that leave the legacy here. There's a few other movies made in the area, and this is not a comparison, but just the obvious, person that's made films here is Clint Eastwood. And it particularly Play Misty for me, his one film, I think generated so much attention and like it still gets talked about to this day about the area. And I understand it's Clint Eastwood. He's a fucking, he's probably in the top 10 most recognizable faces in the world. But my point is that like there hasn't been someone in a long time. There hasn't been somebody capping on it. And it's just such a good area to make. And there are other independent filmmakers in the area. I've talked with them. I know a few of them, but they don't tend to make the stuff that I'm talking about. They want to make something very different. And I don't know. I personally think that the way I see this area and the way I write the scripts for this area, there's a consistency that I think will, if you saw Tenet, I guess to my point, talking about Eric Rohmer walking around Carmel by the Sea and all these different things that have been like, compounding into like what I guess my environment and what I'm surrounded by and what I'm watching and consuming, made me see that if there's enough of these like Devin Thomas style films out there, people might just be like, well, that's a thing. And I like that thing. And maybe like if I want to watch a movie about a lazy summer day in Carmel by the Sea where there's some romantic tension or sexual tension and drama, etc., rooted in reality with a sense of realism, but, whatever, indie type affair, then yeah, like why not? Why fucking not? Like, oh, let's watch Peninsula Nights. Let's watch Cork. Let's watch 3 Day Weekend. Oh, there's this other movie, blah, 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 blah. I think that's just like part of my vision, part of my perception of the path. I don't really know how to say it. I've just been thinking a lot about like what's the move? What's the chess pieces you want to fucking move around to, try and get wherever you're going. And I've started thinking about that too. Like, where am I trying to go? I guess I'm just trying to continue doing what I'm doing. I love what I do. I love making movies. I love podcasting and writing and doing all this stuff. And like I said, when you're in a transitional phase, like literally possibly moving, it's like, okay, well, you start to think about those things again. And it's like, yeah, like I just want to be best positioned to continue doing what I'm doing and just enjoy myself while I'm doing it. So yeah, that's kind of what's been on my mind. Cork rewrite, 3 Day Weekend, working on this new thriller. Been tinkering with the camera. I've also been thinking about cameras so differently lately. Like I love my Red. I'm going to probably shoot my features on the Red, but I've been also thinking like, what if I made something that I gave myself a break from like production and just said, fuck it. Like I shot something on the iPhone this past week just to edit something. I shot us walking around the neighborhood, and I wanted to try some halation and glow and some effects on some footage. It didn't look great on that footage, but yeah, just editing and like doing different things and keeping my chops up. I'm like, God, I just fucking love editing. I love fucking being on the computer and working. And I don't know, I guess that's it. I'm just thinking about what I love to do. I've also been doing a ton of web design, auditions. I built my own personal website recently. A lot of shit that I've just been like working on and trying to like push. I built this AI shot list thing. I'll release it soon. I quite frankly have just been busy. I've been juggling a lot, like you can hear right now. Let Depot's been doing great. Been getting a ton of new subs, and like Let Depot's cool. Like it's just another thing in the film sector. Same with auditions. It's going into like the Hollywood sector, and it's like I just love the entertainment business, and I think it's the business that I connect with the most. obviously we do the real estate grind and shit like that too, and Stevie's cooking up ideas just for even like Woodland Hills. So it's been really good. Things have been, I think there's a sense of productivity going on that I haven't felt in a while. And like, that's good. In 2026, like we're going to be in April. I can't fucking believe it. And, I feel like, I'm getting shit done. I just want to get more done. That's like kind of my goal in the next few months, next few weeks rather, just get back to work. Anyways, some other shit I saw going on this week outside of my personal life is the Harry Potter trailer. What can I say? I fucking love Harry Potter. If you've listened to this podcast, I love Harry Potter. I got a chance to go to King's Cross in England, in London rather, and it was a magical moment to say the least. Just even being in London, it was just so crazy because it's, you feel like, now that I see London in TV shows too, it's just like, I know what it feels like to be there. I'm like, it's just not, you usually just see the river and you're like, oh wow, it's like magical town. I'm like, no, like there's a fucking like sprawling metropolis around this area. It's not super tall, but like it's fucking crazy big. And you could feel that little bit of magic even being there from the Harry Potter films. Like they advertise Potter there, obviously. Like it's funny, every fucking person I met from England was like, nah, fuck Harry Potter. They weren't about it. I remember talking to these English girls in Prague and they're just like, no, like fucking who cares? And I'm like, well, for us, it was like the quintessential childhood film / experience. So anyways, new Harry Potter trailer, directed by Mark Mylod. If you don't know who he is, he did a lot of HBO, Game of Thrones, Entourage. He's a HBO legend. He directed that movie, The Menu, recently with, was it Anya Taylor-Joy and fucking Voldemort? What's his name? Ralph Fiennes. And then that Houth guy, the guy from Juror Number 2. I can't remember his name, but he's fucking super popular. Okay, yeah. I liked the Harry Potter trailer. I was fucking pleasantly surprised because I was kind of like, look, the Black Snape thing got such big backlash, and I get it. Like, it's not true to the novel, and I see all the memes. I fucking get it. I get it loud and clear. You get it too. I don't need to explain it to you. It wasn't what people were expecting, right? And they think it's woke, and they think it's going to ruin the franchise. I get it. And J.K. Rowling's got her own fucking bag of, shit going on with her personal politics. I get why people were fucking freaking out and fighting on the internet. I get it. I've been personally like detached from that shit lately. So like, I'm kind of like, I just don't give a fuck. I'm focused on myself. I don't give a fuck about the conjecture or the mass media opinions. Like I don't have time for it right now. So that being said, when I watched the trailer, Black Snape was the last thing I was worried about. I'm just like, is this thing fucking gonna be good? It looks like it's going to be fucking great. I actually was so surprised. I get it. It's modern. It's got a little bit more clinical, sterile, digital look, but like they kind of said that going in. I remember I read press on this shit heavy and they're like, we're going for a realistic look. It'll be magical in the sense that there's magic going on, but we're not trying to, color temperature wise, glow it up. Nice fucking orange shot. I get it. Like production wise, aesthetic wise, vision wise, what they wanted. Did I think Aunt Petunia and, Uncle Vernon looked a little different? Yes. Did I think everything looked a little different? Yes. I actually think that the Hogwarts interior and like the sets, they're pulling heavy from Hogwarts Legacy. I think they're changing not the map, but the way the actual castle looks to fit their modern IP. And look, like when they were making the first Harry Potter, maybe they didn't have it all figured out. Maybe J.K. Rowling's like, this is kind of what I want. Or like she saw the art, she's like, that's it. They've expanded, developed, and refined the actual like blueprint of the fucking castle. I get that. You could really see it, like I said, reflected in the visuals of the actual trailer. And for 2 minutes of like what is going to probably be like 8 to 10 hours of footage, they did a good job like capturing my attention and making me believe like it's Sorcerer's Stone. They cut it almost like a movie trailer in the sense that you already know the fucking story of Sorcerer's Stone. There's some new shit. They show a little bit more of Harry's life before Potter, or before Hogwarts rather, where you see how he was, and this is in the books, like in Sorcerer's Stone, they show way more of Harry's life prior to Hagrid arriving, prior to the letters arriving. So you get to see a little bit more. And I think that was a big complaint people had in general, with the film versions, the cinema versions versus like, say like this, or versus the novelization, is that, they cut a lot of shit out, right? Well, now with the TV show, they're like, well, we got fucking 8 to 10 hours, 13 hours of footage we can show you. Let's just tell it all. And I think that's what people are going to like about these series. I'm going to certainly like it. I also, I love the Harry Potter original films, and it was hard for me even when this was coming out. I was like, nah, like too soon. But it's been like 20 fucking something years. Like, I think it's okay. I think it's okay for this new generation of kids to come in. I think it's okay to take it in a different direction as far as like aesthetic. Like the logo was a little different. I even heard at the end, it was subtle, but like there's the new theme. You could hear it being played. I'm like, yeah, it's not the Harry Potter I know, but like I felt the Harry Potter vibe when I watched the trailer, and I'm excited to see the expanded universe in terms of like the shit that got left out. I mean, there's shit, and like I won't ruin it, but like there's, I mean, if you've read it, whatever, but you've had plenty of time to read Harry Potter, you guys. Fucking read the books. In like the fourth book, Hermione's doing this like social justice warrior thing where she's like trying to help the house elves to actually make all the food in the Great Hall and like do all the dishes by like starting a union for them. They don't mention that at all. I can't remember what it's called. They had some fucking acronym for it, but it's like, yeah, like that was completely cut out of the, you know, the films, and it's not mentioned. And it's like, well, it kind of has to do a little bit with like Dobby. It kind of has a little bit to do with like the house elf culture and shit. And like, hopefully like that's the stuff they'll show more of. Not just the social justice warrior element, but like that was like a big part of it. There was also a lot of like Hermione and Ron and Harry not talking at parts that I just don't think would have made sense in a screenplay that they can maybe actually like show more of now, show maybe more of them alone with those thoughts. And there was way more drama going on than like what they show. They show quite a bit, but like, it's really like, I always say this about screenplays for films in particular. It's an abbreviated version of the story. Even like a scene is an abbreviated version of like real life. A scene is usually a couple pages, you know, it's not, your conversation could last an hour. It's not going to put 30 fucking minute scenes into Harry Potter, right? Or even in a novel, she's got, you know, fucking 800 page books. So they're not going to write an 800 page script. With 8 seasons, maybe you could do, you know, an hour long, maybe not even 60 minutes, 60 pages. So like they'll figure it out, but I digress. My point is more so is there's going to be more story to tell because there already is in literature, and they're going to be able to tell it more fully. And the kids look great. They look like fucking Ron, Harry, and Hermione. Hermione was really good. Harry is perfect. I hate to say it, like Radcliffe's Harry Potter for me. But we're going into that, like I talked about this last week, but this is like Toby versus Andrew. Like they're both great Spider-Mans. Same with Tom Holland. But like, yeah, everyone's going to have their favorite. This guy might do it different. It's like Doctor Who. I don't watch Doctor Who, but I know people like there's always controversy, right? Who's going to play the next Doctor Who? The next James fucking Bond, you know, like there's always going to be critique and criticism. And then in hindsight, there's going to be somebody who's like, you know what? I actually really like that. Or, oh, that was bad or good. And my point more so is that they looked right. And it's hard to find these people, and let alone for a kid to take on the challenge of being Harry Potter. It's a lot for like a fucking young actor to do. Ron, he looks like a Ron. I think his personality is going to be more Ron than the way he looks. And I'm sure I'll grow to see him as Ron more, but he was good. No criticism there. I thought the Weasleys looked a little done up, like the mom. There's like a shot of her in the trailer. I'm like, you look a little too wigged out. Like it didn't look as authentic and natural as, you know, the previous Miss Weasley actress. But, and there's a small reflection. You get a little bit of Ginny in there. We were pausing frames, dude. We're big fans. We loved it. You could even see like the station for like, I think the Hogsmeade station, it was a little different. So like, there's like, they're not like heartbreaking moments, but it's kind of like, okay, like I guess I need to just brace myself for the fact that this is not going to be the Harry Potter I grew up with, but this will be good. Also, like I do understand that Harry Potter's generally marketed towards children, but I think that they're making this for all ages. I think they're expecting to sell like, you know, the fucking merch and shit to like kids and adults probably. I mean, I was buying Harry Potter merch in London, so what can I say? My point more so, though, is I think it's in good hands. It looks really well done. I was reading that it is the most expensive television show ever made. I think they're doing $100 million an episode, which is fucking crazy. I think it said the original franchise was $1.2 billion to produce. This one will be $5.6 billion to produce. They're building a school. They're building like a town just so the kids can be there 24/7 and actually work on the films, which I think is fine. Like, I think if you're going to do it that way. So, like, the kids aren't fucking traveling or worn out or like, you know, not having friends. Like if there's a school and they're all there and they're all friends and everything's going well and this and that, I think it'll be good. I also think, like they said, they're not trying to take huge gaps in between seasons. Like they're trying to bang this thing out, and like if they can do it right, you know, 7 to 10 years, that'd be ideal to have this show done and out. And it'll just be strange that this thing will still be coming out in 2030. Yeah. But anyways, Harry Potter, the legacy continues. I think going with the television series is the right thing. I remember even in fucking LA in like the early 2010s telling like my roommate Dominic, I was like, dude, like if they do it, they got to do TV. And like, I think I wasn't the only one coming to that conclusion, but I think it does make sense. I also think that people should take it with a grain of salt that this is a television series. If they're going to make a TV series and then reboot a film franchise after that, like that makes sense to me. It may be different. One might be beloved. One might be like more like, oh, it was good, but it wasn't the same. Or maybe it was better. Time will tell. From what I saw, though, I felt the magic. I felt swept up in the magic, and I felt like, hey, you know what? This seems like the right thing for Harry Potter right now. And yeah, you could see other characters too. There was Snape, there was Dumbledore. You see Hagrid now. Our household was not a huge fan of Hagrid. I like Nick Frost. I personally am a fan of the actor. I think he's great in the Simon Pegg films that he's in, the Edgar Wright films rather. And I've always liked him, but like, yeah, he did look a little costumey. He did look a little underweight for the role, which I'm not saying he needs to be big, but like Hagrid's a big guy. He just looked a little costumed up. He also had a different voice than like the OG Hagrid actor. He is fucking, he's a legend. His name's escaping me right now. I was just watching some fucking super British movie with him the other night, with Bob Hoskins. Oh man, it'll come to me. But anyways, I digress. You can't beat that guy as Hagrid. He's in some Bond movies too, GoldenEye. He's just this like purebred European guy. You can't beat him. And Nick Frost, yeah, he seems like a Londoner, but like there was just something different. And I think it'll yet to be seen. I like to have high expectations. I also don't want to rip on him because I'm a fan and like, but yeah, everybody kind of made a comment. And then when we watched the trailer again, I'm like, I get what you guys are saying. It's like Aunt Petunia being like blonde. It's like, oh, like that's not how it was. But it's like in the books, like her description is actually a little bit more close to that than what it is in the film. The other version though is that version. Like that's what I'm saying. Like we're all complaining like, this version's canon and that version's deviating from what I saw here. And it's like, well, hold the fuck on. They were changing shit in the first one. And J.K. Rowling was fucking signing off. So like, don't freak out. It's going to be good. Young Malfoy looked funny too. He kind of looked like a bussin' kid with like a broccoli cut, but no, he looked fine. The kid looks like he's a good actor. I see he's in Lord of the Flies. Maybe I'll watch it. But yeah, it was just, it's going to be the next cultural phenomenon. I feel like I know like, pop culture these days, things are a little like, there's a lot of ups and downs. Like, like even Wednesday season 1, it was like a big fucking deal. And then like Wednesday season 2, like it was good, but like there wasn't the same pop and flavor for that fucking show when it came out. Like maybe it was too long of a gap or maybe it wasn't the same. And Wednesday is also a new IP. Harry Potter is got a legacy. I know those Fantastic Beasts movies did not nearly perform as well as Harry Potter. And like for me personally, I wasn't a huge fan. I just think that too much behind the scenes shit, getting Johnny Depp out, putting somebody else in. They had like 3 villains. I think it was Mads, fucking Johnny, and then somebody else, Colin Farrell. Like it was confusing. It's like, what the fuck's going on? So in J.K. penned those herself, which as a screenwriter, which I mean, maybe screenwriting isn't her strength. I do not want to bash on J.K. Rowling at all. I'm just saying maybe she just wanted to write those for her, or maybe that was her direct vision versus like, I think Stephen Kloves wrote the previous scripts and he's a really talented fucking writer. Like the Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber are just 10 out of 10 scripts, even as adaptations. But anyways, I think there always gonna be compromise when you're adapting something and bringing it to the screen or to, the television, even for HBO. I understand it's a television series. Pretty much it's all the same though. It's cinema at this point, the way they're filming it. I think it'll be good. I think there'll be nostalgia and some generational storytelling wound into that everybody loves. And like I said, I get the controversy over like, Black Snape or like new Hagrid or we're making so-and-so look like this or actually be like skinnier or bigger. And it's just like, yeah, these aesthetic things are like, once you just fucking say like, well, I don't care. Like that's how I feel. I was like, I don't care. I just want to enjoy this thing for what it is. And I think I will. And I think all the people that they put it, like they were not putting people in there just, it has to be talent. And I think that is why they're doing it. This is a $5.6 billion investment. It's a big commitment, almost 7 to 10 years. I think they know what they're doing, and we'll see. We'll see when it's out, dude. I have high hopes, high expectations. I'm obviously a Potter fan. I usually am pleasantly surprised when shit comes out. I'll make one last reference for this. I didn't like those Zack Snyder Batmans that much when they came out. I didn't really watch them because like I like Ben Affleck's like one of my favorite actors. I'm like, yeah, like I just didn't, they're not doing it for me. Like Dark Knight was so fucking good. And then these movies came out. I was more of like, oh, Robert Pattinson, like that's more my tone. But when I went back and watched those other movies, like they are very good. They're fine. I just probably should have watched Man of Steel to go with it and like enjoyed it. And like, I could say the same for the Marvel movies. So many came out all at once. And the universe thing is what really got me like disinterested. Cause I'm like, I like a standalone movie. Like I want to look forward to the next one. I don't want to be like, did you see that one? Cause it connects with it was like a trilogy. Sure. Like you want to make fucking 6 in a row? Fine. I'll watch the saga. But watching like I don't want to watch that story if I don't like that character, just so I can understand the fucking show I'm watching right now, or the character I'm watching right now. And I think that's how those Batmans got convoluted. They also had huge gaps between releases. So I don't know. I think I'm getting away from the point. These Harry Potter films in this new series, I think they're just two different animals, and we're going to see on the other end how time will tell. Time will fucking tell. Anyways, I digress. Excited for Harry Potter. Didn't watch that many movies this week. I really finished Better Call Saul, which, like, if you have seen it, I mean, dude, what a treat. What a perfect way to wrap up all the stories. The last shot's haunting. It's just Kim walking, and she sees Jimmy, and she's walking around the corner, and he's behind the fence, and he just disappears, cut to black. It was just like gutting. It's like, you do feel good because Kim and Jimmy do have their resolution, and they obviously make up. And, like, I think that she'll see him again. I don't think it's the last time she'll visit Jimmy in jail. And he threw it all away. He could have gotten out in 7, and instead it's 86 years. And it's like, holy fuck, man. Like, your heart breaks for him. But, you know, in the end, Saul Goodman dies and Jimmy McGill lives. And even if he's behind bars, he had a clean conscience. That's what Jimmy needed. He needed a reset, and he needed to just be Jimmy again. And he needed to kill Saul Goodman. He was like, the alter ego that just wouldn't stop. And he does it for Kim. He does it for Chuck. And he comes to, terms with his reality, and he genuinely feels remorse for the first time in his life. Maybe not the first time, but he feels it. And man, it's a cautionary tale. Also, the way it wrapped up all of the Breaking Bad questions we had without trying too hard. Like, El Camino did it, and it did it very well. Honestly, El Camino's a movie if you're watching the Breaking Bad, El Camino, Better Call Saul, it's a perfect group of work. Better Call Saul, I think, was far better rather than Breaking Bad in terms of just the story. I do not dislike Breaking Bad. When I say that, it sounds like, oh, like Breaking Bad was bad. No, it's like I love the characters in Better Call Saul. I think Jimmy McGill, Saul Goodman, he's just such an interesting character. We see him go from, bad to good to bad to good. And, like, he has this moral complexity where he means well, but, like, when this other alter ego takes over him and he feels like he's lost it all, especially after his brother dies. I mean, he becomes Saul Goodman. It's so fucking like, Saul Goodman's a vile person. Like, he violates ethics. He violates people's personal property. He violates everything. He becomes this guy that you want to love him, but he's unlovable because who he is so bad. And when he becomes Jimmy again in the end, you feel like there's this like weight lifted from his character where it's like, oh, he's like clean again. He's not just fucking everyone over. And obviously, like, there's scams and schemes that get too far. Kim feels it. Kim feels remorse. And even when you feel like Kim abandons Jimmy, you're almost like, fuck her. But it's also like, she had every right. Like, their actions led to the death of their friends. It led to abuse of the law, the thing that they love the most. It's a shame. The show is most definitely a cautionary tale. I also love this little element. We didn't really talk about it a lot when we were having a powwow after it wrapped, but, like, throughout the series, they show the present day as black and white, and they show the past as color. And it's a simple contrast to the stereotypical, or maybe the more, film language that we all know, is that color is present, black and white is the past. And going and doing that, really, like, I thought it was a nice aesthetic choice because his future was bleak by the time he got there. The black and white actually represented, like, how, like, Saul Goodman's actions had drained the life out of everyone around him. I will say this. They kept flashing back throughout the series to the night Walter and Jesse kidnap Saul and take him out to the desert, and they put him in front of an open grave. The way he described it was very good. And initially when he gets caught, because Saul gets caught at some point in the last season, he says, like, oh, like, I was scared and I was terrified. And, like, I only did what I did because this guy, Mayhew, Walter White, came into my office and told me what to do. And he pleads, that, like, everybody else is dead. There's no one to contradict his story. So he tells the truth that he wants people to know. And when he tells them that I was under the threat of my life and, like, I only did it for that reason, they buy it. They reduce the sentence from, like, 180 years to fucking 7. Okay, great, right? But when he's in the courtroom, he has the moment where he tells the judge, he's like, no, I want to tell the truth as Jimmy McGill, not as Saul Goodman. And when he goes up there and he says, he's like, I was scared. I thought they were going to kill me, but you know what? Then I saw opportunity. And it kind of cuts back to the RV and it shows how he was like, you know what? Like, these two idiots, Jesse and fucking Walter, they have a great product, but they don't know how to sell. they would not have built, like he literally takes credit for it. He says like, I built their meth empire. Saul Goodman, Jimmy McGill literally built that business. When you watch it with this context, even though I watch Breaking Bad again, I'm going to be like, it really is Saul. He's the one who gets them connected with Gus Fring. He's the one who tells them like, hey, here's Mike. He saw the opportunity to make a lot of money and he did. And in the end, he is kind of like the mastermind. He really is. Walter was smart. We love Walter White because he's this amateur criminal running around town, figuring it out as he goes. And he's great at it, but he's an amateur and he's bad in the long run at what he does because he doesn't have any experience. Jimmy McGill, Slippin' Jimmy, had this experience from being a kid working behind the counter at his dad's fucking corner store in Cicero. The motherfucker knew the game early and he knew how to hustle. And that is why he was able to make so much money with Walter and Jesse and Gus and fucking Mike and everybody. And I think when you think about that context, also like some of the fucking parallels between like Lalo Salamanca, Nacho, even referencing it back into the show, like Better Call Saul between Breaking Bad, it's just masterful fucking storytelling. It's beautifully done. My point more so though is just like, you realize that Saul was like a quintessential part of the team. They could not have done what they did without him. They weren't going to have the opportunity. He literally says in like his like testimony in the court or deposition, whatever it is, he's just like, yeah, he's like, they would have been dead without me. And he's absolutely right. Those motherfuckers would have been shot and thrown into a fucking hole somewhere and no meth empire. And like, you realize too that like, you know, Saul Goodman is such a hot suspect to catch because he is the only person other than Jesse. And we see Jesse gets away. He goes to Alaska. He's gone. You know, his story's over. I don't need to see what happens to Jesse. If they want to bring it back, sure. But like, I get it. Pinkman escapes to Alaska and no one's looking for him up there, right? He looks like just some guy. Saul Goodman, though, you know, living in Nebraska, he starts hustling again. That's the thing, is he starts fucking trying to play the game again. And he meets some guy who recognizes him. He's like, let's just start doing crime together. And he ends up getting caught by the mom of that guy because that guy gets pinched on accident. He does like a stupid thing, but it's like, why even start doing it again if you're already in this much trouble? Like, and it kind of showed you like Saul Goodman was never going to change. Slippin' Jimmy was never going to change. Being locked up and not being able to hurt anyone or do any of his little tricks, sure, maybe he gets an extra fucking donut in the, you know, food line by being cool. And he's also famous in jail. I forgot to mention that. Like, people see him like, oh, you're that Saul Goodman. Better call Saul. Like, they're chanting it in the fucking bus on the way to the prison. Like, better call Saul. And you see that, like, yeah, it's going to work out for him in jail. He's not going to get killed. He's not going to get touched. He's a legend. He's a big criminal. People are like, you're a badass, right? In terms of like criminal jail world, people probably fucking like, oh, you're cool. Or at least they respect him. They're like, we're not going to fucking try and kill this guy in the fucking shower. But yeah, the rest of his life, it's just like, you know, when he owns up to it, you realize that he needed to do it just to like absolve himself. He needed absolution from his like sins per se. And like, that's exactly what happens. Anyways, it was probably the best television show I've seen. I think Sopranos, Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul is right up there with Sopranos. I mean, they're just two different animals. Honestly, Sopranos, like, it was of its time. I think it's still like, it's one of the most philosophical shows. And dude, I watched so many clips. Like, clearly Vince Gilligan was influenced by Sopranos, you know. David Chase's work is like very psychological, very in your head. And like, there's a lot of parallels between the shows. And there's a lot of like, there's some episode I watched. There was like the Pine Barrens episode is extremely similar to an episode in Better Call Saul where Mike and Jimmy get lost in the desert. It's the same episode, but different, you know, location. But I love that because it's like, yeah, it's television. Like, it's almost like a, hey, like, I saw what you did. Like, here's my version. Good job. Hopefully you like mine. It's, what do they call it? An homage, rather. But anyways, Better Call Saul, really good. Also, Kim Wexler, Rhea Seehorn's character, she and Jimmy, like, the romance is so good between them. The actor who played Howard Hamlin, very good. Even the guy who played Chuck McGill. There's all these wonderful, there's a great beat too in the last episode of Better Call Saul where Jimmy stops by Chuck's house when Chuck is first getting ill and he can't leave. And he's filling up his ice chest and Chuck and him have this conversation and Chuck's just being completely nice, right? And this happens while Jimmy's getting ready to go to jail. I think it's on the flight. They're supposed to take him to this nice cushy prison and he's on a flight. And it does this flashback. And I think it's just Jimmy thinking, right? And he sees his brother and him being cordial and his brother's like, hey, why don't you stay for a while and we'll talk about your cases? And he's like, no, I don't want to bother you. No, like Jimmy's almost kind of like, no, like you're not usually like this nice. And I don't want to bother you. And like, you know what? Why don't you deal with what you got going on? And his brother's holding a copy of H.G. Wells, I think The Time Traveler. And it showed earlier in the series that Chuck was reading Jimmy the book and it just showed like their brotherly bond. And then to cut back to Jimmy saying goodbye and Chuck is holding the book and he just is smiling. It's like, it's not how the relationship always was, but that is how Jimmy is remembering Chuck. And it was just such a great moment because Chuck was so hard on Jimmy. And Jimmy was, in the end, he felt guilty for Chuck's death. I can tell you right now, because him taking the law away from his brother drove him to suicide. And it's a terrible, sad part of the story, but it was just so well done that they threw that little beat in there. I mean, Better Call Saul is a fucking tragedy. It really fucking is. But that little beat at the end with Kim and Jimmy, it just gives your heart like a little like help, thinking that maybe things will be okay. Maybe she'll come to see him again. And you know what? If this is the only way they can be together is because he's locked up, then maybe it's just the best situation for them. And I don't know. It was just so unique. Also, like, Kim's childhood wasn't great. They show it. She had like an alcoholic mom. I don't even know if they ever show her dad. They're both kind of broken to a little, not to a little. They're definitely broken. They lived through a lot of crazy shit in the show, but they want each other. They want to be there for each other. In the end, I think they have an honest relationship, the most honest it could ever be, because there's no more lying and there's no more screwing people over. Anyways, Better Call Saul, 10 out of fucking 10. I could talk about it till the cows come home. Really loved it. I didn't watch that many movies this week because of Better Call Saul. I did watch Rush Hour at my parents' house. We were just hanging out, and I got to say, like, Rush Hour 1, like, it might be one of just the best just throw it on movies. I love Jackie Chan. I love Chris Tucker. Brett Ratner did a great job directing. Lalo Schifrin actually did the fucking score. He's the same guy who did the Mission Impossible score. He did a lot of work with Clint Eastwood as well. And I was just like, dude, his scores are fucking insane. Like, they're iconic. I know John Williams gets all the fucking praise because, like, his shit is fucking... He is like Mr. Franchise. Like, every great movie he's done the score for. But Lalo Schifrin, I think he passed recently, but he is a fucking true talent behind the fucking keys. He knows how to make a score that is just, I don't want to do it on here, but you've heard the Mission Impossible score. You hear the Rush Hour score. You can hear it right now. It's unbelievably fucking catchy. And yeah, it really like defined the movie. It actually made the movie feel more serious because there is so much levity and comedy in Rush Hour, which I love. And I know they're making a Rush Hour 4, so maybe that's why this movie's been free everywhere. I saw it on fucking YouTube of all places. But I kind of threw it on casually at my parents' house while we were hanging out with Stevie and everyone, and I watched the whole fucking thing, and I was laughing my ass off like it was the first time. I know Chris Penn's in there as well, R.I.P., great actor, very comedic, and like I think if he would have been around, they would have kept him in those fucking Rush Hour movies. But, oh my God, it was just so fucking funny and so classic and so engaging, and they blend the action and comedy so well. It's just something I feel like is a little lost right now. I did throw on this movie last night, Anaconda. I didn't watch it every beat, but it was the new one with like Paul Rudd and Jack Black. And I felt like that movie even felt a little closer to what the 2000s, late 90s were for cinema in terms of like the levity and like the play and like not taking itself too seriously, but having those moments where it's like, okay, this is serious enough. And the movie's fucking ridiculous. It's a far cry from, say, like action comedy of Rush Hour. It's more of an adventure comedy, right? Very science fiction, bold. But I think movies are turning around. And I think like even seeing that a Rush Hour 4 is getting greenlit now is a good tell of the signs that like people maybe are kind of like wanting that back, that style of film. And everything's on like a 30-year clock, in my opinion. What is popular has its lifespan, then it becomes kind of played out, and then people fade away. And then they're like, somebody's like, that's kind of hip, let's bring it back. And I think that's what's happening with even movies. But yeah, I really loved just watching Rush Hour. I won't talk about it too much because look, Rush Hour is a movie that, like, I feel like everybody has seen it. If you're on an airplane and Rush Hour's on there, you're like, all right, yeah, I'll watch Rush Hour. Chris Tucker, just fucking hilarious. And Jackie Chan, just as funny. These guys, like, they made it at the right time. That was just, like, also, it's a movie, I'll say this. That was, like, one of the first, like, movies I owned on VHS, on DVD. Like, if you were buying a new system, this is before the internet and streaming, like, of course, get a copy of fucking Rush Hour. We want to laugh and have a good time with the family. And it's also kind of a family movie. Like, you know, there's Sue Lin. There's like or not Sue Lin, what's her name? Sue Young, rather. There's Sue Young, and like, she's like the kid, and she's like a big part of it. She gets kidnapped, and like, there is a sense of safety with watching this movie where it's not so raunchy or over the top. There's some weed and some stuff if you were young, because I watched it as a young kid, but like, I never thought, like, when he's making the glaucoma joke that like it's fucking like weed, you know, he's like, oh, it's this cig of weed, you know, it's like, okay, like it's a fucking, as a kid, I just thought like, I just laughed because my parents were laughing, like, ha, like, you know, as an adult, you can appreciate the humor more and more. And, but I don't know, the movie kind of plays on it's broad, universal. And I think there's just a lot of iconic moments. Like the movie had so many good beats, and it was playing on all the shit that came before. Cause there's a lot of buddy comedy action, you know, cop movies, right? But Rush Hour, for whatever reason, it was like, I know Lethal Weapon was big and Beverly Hills Cop, but this movie was like, even like Bad Boys. I don't know. Rush Hour seemed to transcend all. I think it just had mass appeal at the right time. Maybe it was right when these movies were the most popular they ever were, or were growing in popularity. But I fucking thoroughly enjoyed watching it. And I'm really looking forward to Rush Hour 4. And the other ones are great too. 2, 3. I mean, maybe I'm understating how much, like, like Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. Rush Hour is a movie in our house. Like Rush Hour, the whole franchise, Shanghai Noon, Bad Boys, like these were movies that my parents were like, yeah, I don't care if it's rated R or whatever, like fucking you guys can watch those because they're safe enough. Like, well, there's some blood and guts or like whatever else, what our parents would kind of be like, oh, we're more lenient on that. You want to watch Rambo? Fuck it. I just think like parents usually, especially back in the 2000s, they're more like, they don't want a lot of drugs and they don't want a lot of fucking like sexuality in movies for like kids. And like rightfully so. I get it. You got to police a little bit. You can't be, you don't want to be a helicopter parent, but you also don't want to be like, ignorant to the fact there might be inappropriate things going on in the movies, right? Which is where most people saw shit back then. Anyways, Rush Hour, love them. They were very, very popular in my household and they're like beloved. So really looking forward to 4. I haven't finished it. I'm watching it right now. Is This Thing On? Bradley Cooper's new film. Stars Will Arnett and Laura Dern. Bradley Cooper's in it as well as a minor character. I'm really liking this fucking movie. It's about Will Arnett becoming a stand-up comedian after him and his wife are thinking about separating. They're thinking of divorce, but they haven't gotten it yet. Dude, it is just like so fucking indie. The way it's shot, the way it's written. I'm not comparing myself to Bradley Cooper by any means, but I felt like I could have wrote and like shot this movie. And like, I love that because when I see a movie like that, I'm like, well, fuck, like that's like kind of right up my alley. And I think it's cool that Bradley Cooper, for having as much success as he has, decides to make stuff like this. Like A Star is Born's, obviously there's a lot of assets and moving parts that make it so great. In this movie, he has like the comedy cellar. So like he's got assets that are difficult to get if you're just the average Joe. But like the fact that he is capturing these places and the way he's doing it, it looks like very like handheld or like shoulder rig, not trying to be too clean, not too polished. It's loose, even with like the acting and stuff. It feels authentic. It's reminiscent of mumblecore. That's reminiscent of like early 2000s indie cinema, 2010s indie cinema. Maybe even movies of like Cans and like other shit. It's just so fucking good when it's that honest and that raw with these type of talents in it. Like, Will Arnett and Laura Dern. And I don't know, he's really, I'm in the last 40 minutes. I was going to finish it. I'm like, fuck, I got a pod. Like it's got to do it. I'm already a day late. Besides the point though, it just is so beautifully done. It's so good. And I just cannot wait to see how it plays out. And I kind of think I'm a screenwriting mind. I think I see where it's going, but it's cool. Yeah, Will Arnett's this guy who just starts doing stand-up, and it seems like in the movie it's like helping him and his wife actually get through like their differences because he's being so brutally honest up there. And I mean, it's cool too. His like genesis of doing it, he just walks in and puts his name down, doesn't want to pay the cover, and he goes up there and he just talks. And I'm like, honestly, like that for me is much more of what I imagine stand-up is than like knock knocks or like written jokes. Like I've seen like a lot of like fucking stand up even locally, and like I won't mention anybody specifically, but I've seen like people come and go through the open mic scenes, and like dude, like some of it is just like they're getting booed and they're just like going right through it. Next joke, reading off a notepad. I'm like, god damn, it's like it's not even funny. And I don't want to bash, but it's like it's not like there's a sense of like where it's coming from, an authentic, organic place, that it's not clearly like the way they're doing it. And you gotta, like, Will Arnett does a good job of like making his character feel like these jokes are organic, and perhaps there's improv, maybe there's some like scripted. I always think there's scripted shit, but like the way he goes about doing it, like that crowd work and the way he does it is the way it should be done in comparison to just ha-has, like knee slappers. Anyways, not done with it, so I can't fully like critique the film, but I love what I've seen so far, and I think that Bradley Cooper's an interesting guy. He has made quite a name for himself as a director, and I think that this may be my favorite of his work. I love A Star is Born. It is like a remake. It is derivative of the past versions, and I think they're always going to make one every fucking 20 or 30 years, but his version's very, very fucking good. I was actually reading, I think Cooper is going to be doing an Ocean's 11 prequel. That's what I saw in the press, that he's going to be doing a prequel for Ocean's 11 that's set in the 60s, the Sinatra era, and kind of how like the Ocean gang gets together. So I'm excited to see that. Maybe he's going to play Danny Ocean's dad. I don't know, but excited to see that. And it's cool that he's just getting work. He was really deep into those Marvel films for a while. I really knew him for like The Hangover, Wedding Crashers. I loved him in Silver Linings Playbook. But yeah, as far as recently, I haven't seen him around as much in terms of acting. And I think honestly, maybe it's because he's been behind the camera a little bit more, and he's really great behind the camera. This is, if you haven't seen it, is This Thing On 2025? It's streaming on Hulu. I think it just went on there. It might be on Disney Plus too. I see it out and around all the streaming services, but I was like reading reviews and people are like, poor financial box office, but the Metacritic and everything was great. And I don't even take reviews that serious. I like to watch it and judge it for myself. But like just basing off like financial, it's like fuck the financial return. This thing is gonna be something people talk about if they watch it. It's just a good movie in comparison to just saying like, oh, this movie made like 100 million, so it's good. It's like this ain't the $100 million return movie. This is a fucking indie movie that. What I like about it is that he could make fucking anything. He could have been like, hey, like I want to direct a Star Wars, and been like Bradley Cooper, direct Star Wars. We're gonna sell a lot of tickets. Like, sure. But in this case, he's just like, no. Like, I want to make this movie about stand-up comedy and about this guy going through his divorce or his separation, how it helps him get back to like his wife. It sounds like an indie movie. I'm sure the studio's like, all right, Bradley, like do this one, and like, you know, and this is all conjecture. I don't know how it really goes down, but that's what I imagine when he's that famous and that powerful and that valuable to them. They're like, okay, like one for you, one for us. And this is one for him, but like, what a beautiful movie. I hope he continues to make movies like this because I think it's so fucking interesting. Somebody that famous and known and, like I said, powerful in the business, has so much probably demand and expectations of him, decides to make something like this. I even equate it to the same thing as like Dwayne Johnson going out and doing The Smashing Machine, which was completely overlooked at the Oscars. I think it got one nomination, but like should have been very, very much in the fucking top contention. I do not understand how Marty Supreme was so nominated over that. And then also, you know, that movie didn't get anything either. So, but yes, this is the same thing as Dwayne Johnson doing The Smashing Machine. This is Bradley Cooper Smashing Machine. Is This Thing On? Really good so far. Like I said, I got to finish it, but like I'm already excited talking about it and I still got 40 minutes left. Anyways, Is This Thing On? 2025, Bradley Cooper starring Will Arnett and Laura Dern. Beautiful movie so far. I think that's about all I got. I mean, this week was good. Like I said, been working on things, auditions, Let Depot. Go check them out if you haven't. Let Depot, we got tons of LUTs, a lot of new subs this month. I don't remember the price, but just go to letdepot.com, check it out. If you're an actor or somebody trying to get into the acting world, or you're trying to find somebody to act in your films, go to auditionsapp.io and make an account, sign up, make a profile. You can post a fucking role. You can make your talent profile just to advertise yourself as an actor. It also does help on the internet when you make a profile to index you. People will start seeing you come up under actor. Let's just say your name is like John Smith, Los Angeles actor. This gives you a way to, for free, literally make a profile, and people will see you and be like, okay, John Smith, the actor. Like, oh, I know, here's his body of work. Here's what he's in, or here's what he's looking to do. He's available to travel, etc. There's a lot of like minutia and detail in there that I think is actually extremely beneficial because you can basically use this as your resume. It's a digital resume for actors that also has a website with roles being posted that you can actually get. So go check it out, auditionsapp.io. I don't really have anything else to plug. I've just been working, you know, like I said this week, keeping my head above water and trying to figure out the next move. So I think today, actually, it's Sunday. I usually do the show Saturday, lately at least. That's been my 2026 grind. So I'm going to put this one out today. It's a day late, but you know what? At least it's done. And I think I might go shoot. I think I might go shoot some footage, you know, and just try and fucking, you know, have some fun with the camera. I've been really wanting to shoot on my Panasonic. I actually got a new lens coming for the Red. I got the Sony, or not Sony, I got a Zeiss CP2 50 millimeter prime lens. It's a lens that I've always wanted, and I found one for a killer deal, and it's still pricey, but it's in like virtually it's like new condition, which is like fucking insane for this lens because it's a little older, but I just love the optics on these Zeiss lenses, especially for cinematography and shooting fucking features. Like I already know, I'm anticipating how good it's going to look. So super excited to get that. I'm going to go outside. It's like 85 out. I mean, fucking, you could probably hear it in my voice. I'm parched. I need to get some fucking water and get out in the sunshine, maybe take a walk and just enjoy the rest of the day. Anyways, guys, it's good talk, good week, and we'll get back to it. I'm Devin Thomas, and this has been another episode of Unscripted. I'll talk to you all next week.